December 8th, I could do it.
Oh, yeah, they're in my office. Okay, well, you know, I'm kind of a big space person. Okay, very good.
No.
Oh, I'm the girlfriend. That's why I ended up at his. Yeah, that's right. It's like, you know, we're both. She just got my damn thing last time. Yeah. Why don't I have service? So you got another employee retired. Yeah. All right. Yep.
Okay. All right, let me call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Commissioner Allen,
I'm present,
Commissioner
waving at
Norwood,
Carol.
Commissioner Norwood will not be in tonight. Commissioner Siragusa,
Here.
Commissioner Roberts will not be in. Commissioner Stallings,
Here.
Commissioner Orr,
Here.
Mayor Pinkinen.
Here. All righty, thank you. Item number 2, at the Commissioner's request, discuss any item of concern on the rescheduled regular session agenda.
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Okay, everybody's good. Item number 3, study items 3.1, discuss proposed changes to the smoking and vaping in public places ordinance. Carol?
Yes, state law has now included marijuana smoking and vaping in the Smoking in Public Places and Indoor Workplace Act. And this ordinance just puts the changes that we need in our ordinance, and that is the only change, other than we're really doing two things. We're modifying so that smoking marijuana and vaping marijuana are included in the prohibited activities. And then secondly, we had already changed the actual penalties for smoking when you're under 21. But it was brought to my attention that I had not changed the odd definition of proof of age in the definitions that went before the offenses. So I have made that change as well. It's pretty simple. Do you have any questions?
You got anything? Okay. Good. Carol, I know on 1 November, I forget how many different laws changed at the state. How many will affect us, or do we have a laundry list of things that changed?
We've already changed quite a few.
Yeah.
there'll be, there may be a couple more that we'll do.
Okay.
They're not particularly significant.
Okay, all right, thank you.
The next one on the agenda is a similar item. It does two things as well. For a long time, we have allowed attorneys, local attorneys, just to call the court clerk or call my office and enter a entry of appearance verbally, and then we write their name and their phone number at the bottom of the packet so that the judge will know. And so we've modified this second ordinance to more clearly represent what actually we're doing. And secondly, the state law changed and said, and it isn't a change for us, but we have put it in, that that when someone pays either by a credit card or just mails in a check or at the window and doesn't do a plea, that it is considered no contest. We've always considered it no contest, but state law changed, so we're modifying that section as well. And both of these ordinances, because they are minor, if you don't have problems or concerns, then they're also on the agenda for passage tonight.
Okay, good. Any questions? Okay, thank you. All right, that was item 3.2. 3.3, update on capital improvements program.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a snapshot of our capital improvement program as of today, where we are on our projects. We got about 120 projects. They are on different stages of project construction, design, and completion. We got 50 projects in design, 34 in construction. 18 of them are just completed, and about 18 projects are in operating department. They are in the design phase of construction. The projects are divided in among the, just like in our budget, there are 8 different fund categories. So I'm going to throw each and every fund category. So we got, for the time's sake, I'm not going to talk about 120 projects. So just going to hit highlight projects. We got a project in the general fund about containment at the service center. The airport, we got another project, same like concrete approach and paving. They are still in design phase. And the street and alley fund, we got a few projects. Some of them are in design and construction phase. These are all the current year projects, fiscal year 2022 projects. And these are prior year projects, but 3 of them are just completed. Cherokee and Adams, right in front of YMCA, that's been completed. A water line for that relocation. Birch from 16th to 20th Street, that water line is completed. That is done prior to reconstruction of the street. So the design of that project is in this year budget. And this is the picture of Maple Street. Like they finished 15th to 16th, sorry, 15th to 16th. The storm sewer construction is done. Right now they are preparing for curb and gutter and final paving.
They were actually doing that today.
Right.
When I went past, so
That's good.
they actually getting the gutter, the curbs in
Curb and gutter, cool.
the south side.
That's good. So the direction for the contractor is they have to finish each block at a time. So it's less disturbance to the residents.
Yeah.
So,
They're doing a good job of it.
thank you. Next fund is capital improvement. Most of the projects in capital improvement are in still design phase. The pre-year, we got a couple projects are completed. 10th Street, there are some guardrails were damaged. We replaced those guardrails. These are prior year projects. They are under construction. This is the GCIA. On the GCIA there, water and sewer is completed, and they are working on the street. I think the only thing left on the street is the tie into the 54th Street. So majority of the paving is completed on the project as well. Soccer complex, water and sewer is completed. Streets, majority of the street is completed. They are working on the south parking lot, but we have not touched any inside, like sidewalks or, so they are yet to be constructed. So all the driving surfaces are all on the final stages. So,
Raleigh,
yes, sir.
may I ask a question?
Go for it.
I'm going to go a little bit backwards and go to your fiscal year 22 projects for a capital improvement. It says security gate for parks and recreation facility. Is that at the service center?
We got two, like there are 3 gates, sir. 2 for the service center, 1 for the parks department itself. So, like
So
there
you're-
are 3 gates.
Getting that locked up tight. Okay, South Meadow Lake Park Trail.
Yes, sir.
That'll be, so we've built the bridge across the creek, and so now we're gonna start going along west with a trail that'll take us to the,
Base,
Vance.
Vance Airport
so
base.
that's how far you're planning it right now?
Right.
Oh,
Like,
well, good. I thought maybe it was just gonna end at the railroad crossing, the other crossing. So you're fixing it, you're starting to go all the way out to the base then?
Exactly.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's in phases, I believe.
But like this year, we have only $400,000.
Right.
Yeah, so we are designing, like, but the design, yes, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so
We are
that's
going
what,
to build the project in phases
sure.
to get to the end result, yes.
Okay, and then the mayor was asking me about the golf course. He really didn't. The clubhouse patio, I can understand that. It's a mess out there. The snack bar renovation,
Yes, sir.
just cleaning it up or,
What I understand is they don't have enough room for the cooking area, so they are trying to take some walls out to accommodate larger cooking space.
I
So
see.
since it is involved in renovation of the building, so we had to hire an architect to do it, so
I understand.
that's where we are. So we got the architect on board, so we are working on negotiations with the scope and fees, so.
I just didn't know how much cooking they were doing out there, so I didn't, that makes sense though, because it is set up kind of awkward, coming from a guy who owned a lot of restaurants, so. Those are the only ones that really tweaked my interest, so.
Great.
Thank you for answering, I appreciate it.
No problems.
Okay.
Street Improvement Fund, Randolph Mill and Overlay. As you can see, like Commissioner Saragusa said, like today is the first day he drove from downtown all the way to 30th Street. So majority of the paving is completed.
Yes.
So in the downtown portion of it, there is little more sidewalk needs to be done. So we gave contractor kind of like a timeline. By middle of November, if he cannot finish it, he has to postpone all the work towards after January 1st, so to accommodate the holidays.
Can I just ask a question just on the Randolph Mill and Overlay from 7th to 17th?
Yes.
Are we gonna go north and south on the 16th intersection in that design plan since we've been filling in at the stop sign? The road just does this all the time. Are we gonna include in at least 10 feet into those intersections from Randolph in this design plan to get it nice and level
Sure, we can.
at the stop signs?
Yeah. Usually on the arterial crossings, we try to accommodate all the radiuses. So,
Yeah, because those two north and south stop signs, that road, 16th and Randolph, does this. So, and it doesn't matter how many times we go fix it, within a month or two, we're back to that. So if we can include in the design to get some of that street would be helpful.
sure. Yep, this year budget is only for the design part of it, so we are accommodating.
Could that be change order, just a portion, like he's talking about, Raleigh?
That's for next year design, construction, sir.
Oh, okay,
It's
gotcha,
not even
gotcha,
this
gotcha.
year.
Okay, so it still could be added, gotcha, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we can add it to that design now, would be a great
We'll
idea.
certainly look, yeah. Randolph, 26th to 30th, that's completed. 5th to Washington to 7th, they are completed as of today, but some pictures. This is the 26th to 30th Street concrete portion of the project. Sanity Sewer.
While you're on that one, quite a few of the business owners that are on Randolph talked to me personally and let me know how satisfied they were with how fast that went. They were really disturbed and concerned that what was going to happen is it was going to drag on, and here comes the Christmas bunch and all that, and you guys they knocked it out of the park. They got it done well and got it done quickly, so appreciate
Yep,
that.
Jason, good job.
Yep, yep.
Thanks, sir. Next one is the Sanity Sewer. Majority of the projects are still in design phase. FY22 projects. Prior projects are in construction phase. Notable projects in the prior year are Bell Press rehab, addition to the sewer plant. We have like 3 bell presses. One is a 2 meter and the 2 are 1 meter presses. 1 meter presses are not working, so that's the reason we wanted to add another 2 meter press. We are in the design phase of that one. Stormwater fund projects. Couple of, like 3 of the projects not been started because of the Oklahoma Bridge. I'll get to a few projects are in still construction. Oklahoma Bridge project, we completed the HNS study and preliminary design is complete. 30% design complete. We are hoping to finish the design by end of the year. First quarter will be bidding phase, and we are hoping to have the project in construction by summer. This is the Broadway Bridge. The contractor is progressing pretty decent construction progress. He hit with a couple challenges. There is a groundwater, like the quantity of groundwater. We expected the groundwater, but the quantity is more than we expected. So we had to do like excavate a little more, come back like about 4 feet high. So yeah, it's all silted in and it's pretty bad. But he's already poured the base, so from now onwards, the progress will be pretty faster.
Okay.
This is the channel south of Jumbos. This will help to divert the stormwater from Cleveland Street project. The contractor finished like 80% of the project. This project will stop on the east side of Cleveland. So the box under Cleveland will be part of the street project. So just wanted to give you water capital improvement projects. A few of them are still in design. Prior year projects are in construction. Just to give you an update on Leona Mitchell, the design is complete. We are working on project out to bid in the next couple of weeks. That's basically got. Colleague, Chris, do you want to jump in, or?
Yes, as you know, we've started construction in several locations on the Call Lake program. The first picture you see there are the pump casings and housings for the intermediate booster pump station, which is east of here, just a little bit east of Garber as well. Then there's, of course, 2 pictures of the intake. Last check of last Friday, we were down to about 80 feet with 20 more to go. The good news, the other good piece of news is we got our first truckload of pipe hit the state and has hit the site for our Horseshoe Lake bore. So we're starting to show material. And if you go out on West Chestnut, there's a great big pile of dirt. So we started there too as well. Okay? In terms of parcels, we have, of the 230, we have 9 that are bridge parcels. Of those, 6 are Ponkas, which I think we're really coming close to settling on 2 of them for sure. And then there are 3 others that we're still working in-house. With regards to the Chestnut water main, you can see the count there. We've got 4 that we need to close still. But those have not been bridged to the city of Enid yet. So when those get to us, we'll let you know.
There's a groundbreaking on the 9th at the new site for the new water treatment plant.
Yes, sir.
11. You already received your invites.
Thank you, Chris. It's the summary, so. Any questions?
I have a question. We get beat on pretty hard about roads and streets. You know, everybody likes to complain about the roads. I know ODOT has a long-range plan that's online. You can go look at it. Do we have a long-range plan that delineates streets and where if someone asked me about a specific street, I could say, it's on the list, but it's pretty far down the list? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, I
We
think
do have a
5-year, right?
plan for all the arterial streets, yes, sir.
Yes, and we've developed a 5-year plan for asphalt. We just need to roll it out to you guys and get your blessing and put it online. So that will help answer those questions.
But you know, a lot of people whine about their neighborhoods. Their neighborhoods probably bother them more than Randolph. Do we go that far?
Yes, our asphalt program, which I believe has been very successful, we've talked about, that is a 5-year program we have now. That won't cover every city neighborhood street in 5 years, but it's a start, and certainly we'll look to bring that to you real soon to make sure that we have it in pretty good shape so we can publicize that. That would be a goal for us to get those online for everybody to see.
Well, you already mentioned earlier about the feedback that we get on some of the work that we do. You're doing great work, and I think this is a good time to roll out and say, and this is where we're going. And because you are doing good work on the streets.
Yes, we will do that, because that goes right along with the theme of what I believe we're wanting to do is fix stuff, fix infrastructure, and streets be tops on the list.
Okay.
So yes, we will come and talk about that again soon, particularly the neighborhood streets. And then we'll also look at if we can put together more assets. I'm very pleased with the asphalt crew that's out there working now. And so we'll see if we can figure out ways to do more or add more resources.
In fact, didn't we just take $500,000 more and put it into roads here recently?
I think we did. It might have been some time ago.
Yeah.
We do, the concrete program, which is outsourced, is out of money. So we will probably come to you at some point and show you what we fixed with all of that. And if funds are available, ask to spend more. But the asphalt program is what you're asking about, Commissioner. So we'll come back to the 5-year plan and show you.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay. Item 3.4, discuss proposed rate increase for airport hangar leases and hear an airport update.
Thank you, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Commissioners.
Yep, Justin.
So first is the proposed rate increase for hangars and ground leases. It's a very standard thing that we do about every 3 years. It's 1 cent increase for city-owned hangars with some exceptions in the 45 and 46 series, because they are least desirable hangars. We often have open hangars and people don't want to move into them. So we keep those at the rate that they're currently at to keep them competitive. Everyone else on the city-owned hangars goes up 1 cent. Ground leases go up 2 cents per square foot per year. Pretty minimal. If you, I put in the agenda there, there's a little graph there. It shows you the square footage, and the new rate shows the increase per month that the customer will see. And then at the far right there, it shows the extra per year that the airport will receive. That'll just go for continued improvements of the airport and to the hangars. Other thing I had for you there, if you don't have any questions about the rate increase.
Well, I thought it was real fair. I mean, it didn't look like you were out trying to raise a lot of money. I mean, you're just trying to meet your needs is what it appears to me. I mean, it's quite clear. I was wondering about why there wasn't any increases on some of those. That makes sense if they're ancient. You know, it's not as glamorous,
No,
right?
no,
And you have
they're
your own plane and stuff, you want to be glamorous, so I
Yes.
understand that.
Yeah, they leak water under the door pretty badly, unfortunately, and that's just a sign of where they're placed.
Yeah.
They were temporary hangars originally that were bolted into the concrete back during the 70s, I think, during the last real big oil boom when we had a really long hangar list. The ramp that they were bolted into, it slopes towards the hangars, unfortunately, so all the water goes right into them.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Do you have, I see this is only about it's gonna bring in about an extra 15,000 a year.
Yes.
Does your budget currently meet the needs, the maintenance needs of the hangars? Or is this increase gonna keep up with that, or where are we at with that?
Yeah, there's always needs for the hangars. I think we meet them pretty well. These are aging hangars, so they definitely have some problems. You know, in the past 3 years, we have made quite a few upgrades. We've repainted them. We've put lights and redone the electric on the exterior, so now all the lights outside of the hangars work. But you know, they could definitely use some treatment on the roof so that there's a few spots that leak. But I would say we're in a pretty good spot for hangar maintenance costs specifically. This really, as over the past 3 years, we've seen a pretty big increase on what we have to pay to get people to come out there and fix things.
To keep them maintained?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this kind of just helps us keep up with that. Specifically, the next things that we're looking forward to do is some of the doors are starting to get pretty hard to move and open. They're not, a lot of these, only the 32 series has automatic doors on them. The rest are manual, so they have to get out and push them themselves, and they're starting to get to the point where it can be a real pain to open them up.
Thanks.
Hey, Keston, we might have you come back at some point and talk about the AIP plan,
Yes.
because you might go ahead and talk briefly about, aren't we looking at some new hangars out there maybe in '23 or something like that?
Yes, yeah, I'll bring that up in
Oh,
my,
okay, great,
in my,
thank you.
my slide here. I don't have a slide for it, but I was gonna bring it up, and I have a little section about projects that we have coming up.
Okay. Go ahead.
So going into that, I'll give you a little overview about things that are going on at the airport. First, starting out with some statistics, then we'll go over some projects that we have coming up, and finally just some future things that we'd like to do and plan to do. First, an overview. Some things to keep in mind are just for references there. The long runway on the left there, that is 1735. That is our main runway, used about 90 to 95% of the time for operations. Over to the right of it, you'll see it there is kind of diagonal. That's a shorter crosswind runway. It is 1331 is the numbering on it. It's used about 5% of the time, but when it's used, it is very important. Just above that is, of course, our main hangar group area. So 1735 main runway, it's 8,002 usable feet, a little bit longer than that concrete on the ground. It is an instrument operations runway on the 3-5 end, so you can do ILS landings on it, which is a type of landing that uses the instruments inside the airplane to make it easier. You don't have to use just visual. Runway 1331 crosswind runway, it's only 3,150 feet long. It is used by the majority of the uses of just small general aviation planes that use it. So you're not going to be seeing the much larger business airplanes because they can deal with crosswind landings much better than the smaller ones. We do have an FAA contract tower. one of about 7 or 8 in the state of Oklahoma. We see about 3,500 to 4,000 operations a month. That is anytime the wheels of an aircraft touch the pavement of the runway. So a lot of those are VANCE operations where they're just touch and goes and they don't full stop at the airport. Of full stop operations, we see probably about 1,000 a month. Got 100 approximately based aircraft out at the airport in the hangars. 90 of those hangars are city-owned, with about 23 of them are private-owned and built hangars. Here is a updated satellite view of the terminal and hangar area. You can see the new terminal building there right at the bottom outside of a ramp with plenty of VANCE aircraft right out front. Some of the services that we provide out there, we have a big transient hangar for people that are moving through if weather is to come through and they want to put their very expensive plane up so that it doesn't get damaged. We have competitive fuel pricing in both Jet A and 100 low-lead avgas fuel for small general aviation planes, which we offer also quantity volume discounts. Free ice and coffee, of course, for passengers and planes that move through, and a pilot lounge that is 24-hour access for anyone that comes in after our hours of operation, which are 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., 7 days a week, holidays included. Our contract tower is only open from 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., however, a slight difference there, and that is 7 days a week, holidays included as well. Plenty of businesses that use the airport out there. Some local with Outwoods, Grondike, Johnson's Grain, Envirotech, and a few others. Plenty of transients that move through. Too many to list, but some of the notable ones are Koch Industries, Advanced Pierre, Farm Bureau Insurance. There's a lot that come through. It's quite a busy airport, actually. And then, of course, we've got plenty of emergency services that come out. Plenty of meta-flights. We get fire service Blackhawks that move through from back and forth on the country, especially during fire season out west. Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Forestry Services, and lots of news and media helicopters stop by for fuel too, if stuff's going on in the area. Some additional uses that go on at the airport. About half of it is VANCE traffic to 2/3. They use our ILS on runway 35 quite a bit for increasing their training. It's kind of a 4th runway for them to use, which is a great option that they have. Also is a great place for emergency diverts and weekend flying so that they don't have to open up for a weekend flies over there. General aviation, we have approximately 75 of our 90 aircraft, or 100 aircraft out there are small, personal owned aircraft that people operate out there. Several of them are sport aircraft or experimental, which is a smaller category of general aviation aircraft. We have 2 maintenance facilities on field, aircraft structure or ASIC on the south end, which is the big one, specializing in Cessna Caravans specifically. I think one of 2 in the nation and maybe even in the world, if I remember correctly. And then we have Wren Aviation, which is just our small piston maintenance shop that will service general aviation aircraft. So some of our funding, we're a separate enterprise fund, obviously, so we don't get any tax revenue from the city of Enid, except for notable project exceptions. I think we did receive some for the terminal building project, which we greatly appreciated. But the major funding for our projects are from the FAA, the Oklahoma OAC, which is the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, the OSMPC, which is the Oklahoma Strategic Military Planning Commission, and some from the ODOT as well. Our team out there, there's 8 of us. Me as the airport director. I have an operations manager and then 6 airport technicians. Those 6 airport technicians and my ops manager is what we have out there operating the airport that 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. So pretty small crew, but we get it all done out there. We do everything from servicing aircraft to all the record keeping. We maintain the infrastructure out there and do minor repairs on the hangars and fencing and all that good stuff. So basically anything that needs to be done out there, my operations manager and my airport technicians take care of it. Here's some pictures of our equipment that we have out there. A couple of tractors, a street sweeper, that is our Jet A fuel truck, and a big snow plow. Speaking of that, winters can be a challenge out there. We do have that snow plow, so even during snowstorms, as you can see, we plow the runway, we plow the ramp and the parallel taxiway. Helps with the military so they can continue to do operations out there as well. So we've had plenty of that have wintered out there during a snowstorm and been able to continue their operations the next day. We also get quite a bit of news media helicopters out there. That picture right there for helicopter News Channel 4, we were the only airport in this region of Oklahoma that was open that they could land at and get fuel. We've also serviced Channel 5 during the last snowstorm back in, earlier this year. Came through and landed and got fuel there. We were the only open airport. So our joint use hangar, that was the transient hangar that I was talking about earlier. We store plenty of military aircraft in there, but it was also open to companies that move through. They can pay to have their hangar or their airplane put in the hangar for overnight. We get quite a bit of use out of it, and it is constantly full, especially during this time of the year where weather can get touchy. So our joint use parking apron right out front of it. It's helped built by the Oklahoma Strategic Military Planning Commission. We use it quite a bit for military operations, parking planes over there for the weekend operations. So some upcoming projects and projects we've done recently. The one we just completed was a ramp rehab about just 2 or 3 weeks ago. Was a crack seal and a joint seal on all 3 of our main ramps, on our joint use ramp, our main ramp right in front of the terminal, and then part of the south ramp down to the south side of the airport. Some panels were fully replaced if it was cheaper to replace the panel than it was to fill all the cracks inside of them. And then also we repainted all of our parking tees and the movement line across the front of our parking aprons there. It was approximately $300,000. A little bit over half of that was paid for by the Oklahoma Strategic Military Planning Commission. Next major project coming up is a full reconstruction of our crosswind runway 1331. Last was taken care of was crack seal and micro surfaced in 2010. Since then, we've had significant deterioration, quite a bit of cracking throughout the panels, grass intrusion from the sides and through down the middle. It is full supported by the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission for a full depth replacement. We will be narrowing it from 108 feet wide down to a more consistent, nationally 75 feet wide. It'll be approximately $2.1 million, largely about 75% funded by FAA, 5% funded by Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. The rest will be local airport funding, which is a little bit higher than most projects, but for a crosswind runway, it's pretty good considering FAA does not support them anymore. After that, we have in 2024 will be a rehabilitation of our 1735 runway. Sealant is starting to separate, some vegetation appearing on the sides. This will just be, we're taking care of it before it deteriorates further. It's approximately a $1 million project. It'll be funded 90% by the FAA, 5% by the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, 5% by the airport. Last time anything was done to the main runway was about 14 years ago, excluding the extension down on the south end, of course.
I'd assume they got to close 1735 when they do that. How long would that be?
So yeah, it'll be roughly 30 to 45 days, assuming that the weather holds for that time period. So it should be a fairly short period of time. It'll just be sealing, doing joint seals, and then there's some cracking down on the south end as well that they'll take care of, and some trouble spots here and there. They'll also be, while it's shut down, we'll also be upgrading the lighting on the side. It's old lighting. Now it'll be updated to LED lighting as well, and we'll be replacing the airport signage that goes along the runway as well to LED. So it'll be much easier to read, much less expensive to run, and just better all around.
Yeah, since it is a significant amount of time, I'm sure we'll be talking with the base to make sure we're
Yes, yeah. We keep in touch with them pretty
Yeah.
closely when there's any time that affects our main runway.
pretty sure.
Yes, so
Okay.
this might be pushed off to late 2024, I imagine, depending on how the reconstruction
Center
of
runway.
the center runway at Vance goes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
After that, we'll have project is the ramp rehabilitation and reconfiguring. Project that I showed you at the very start, you may have noticed that only part of the main ramp was done. This green portion was the part that was not done on the rehabilitation. So this will be rehabilitating that portion, which is a asphalt portion of the runway, or the ramp there instead of concrete on the rest. And they'll also be adding in a second taxiway out to our main ramp. Existing pavement in that area is starting to show seasonal deterioration. Second taxiway, just anytime we have to close down the main runway, our main taxiway out for, like when we had to on the ramp rehab project this year, it basically shuts down the airport because our main runway is no longer accessible to our terminal. So this will give us a second option if we ever have to do something like that. We don't have to shut down the whole airport. There's another way in and out.
Okay.
This adds that option. Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission approximates that it'll be a $2.7 million project. $2.4 million of that will be funded by the FAA. About $150,000 by Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, $150,000 by the airport.
Okay.
I do not have the slide for the other one, but as Gerald was bringing up, there is a project that we are looking at doing on the south end to reconstruct those hangars we were talking about earlier that are no longer as desirable. To fix that ramp from sloping towards the hangars, we'll be using funding from when the military shuts down their center runway. They'll base quite a few aircraft out at Woodring. If it was anything like last time, we'll be using that funding that we make from selling them the fuel to be doing a full reconstruction of that south ramp. We'll be tearing it up, replacing it down so that it no longer slopes towards the hangars and away from them, and then also be tearing down and reconstructing those hangars to make them more desirable. That'll be roughly a $2 million project, about $1 million for the ramp and about $1 million for the hangars. We're also pursuing funding with the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. They have a new hangar funding program that they've just launched this year. It's the first year that they're doing it. We will be pursuing about $300,000 from them for the hangar portion. They fund at a 30% level for hangar construction, and that is a grant for that.
Okay.
Some smaller projects that we've done in the meantime, though, we have a new self-service terminal out at the airport that was completed about a year ago. It replaced an old self-serve fueling dispenser that we'd had out there that was probably out there since the 70s or so. It was starting to really show its age. So new dispenser, new credit card machine, everything out there works great. And we've heard great feedback from the customers that have used it as opposed to using the old one. We have a new overflow and temporary parking lot out there as well. That is just to accommodate some of the increased traffic that we see when we have events out there, like for the 80th anniversary from Vance. We had quite a few people out there. So when we have projects like this, it gives them somewhere to park. Fencing between the parking lot and the joint use ramp, that is something that we're looking at doing to help with any potential wind coming off of blast coming off of aircraft that are starting up on the joint use ramp. That is something that we had bidded out pre-COVID, then COVID hit and price of lumber skyrocketed, so that'll have to be rebid out since that is no longer doable at the price that he bid. Something we're looking at doing though. Viewing area is right out front of the terminal building. You may have seen it. It was done by Boy Scout Troop, I think, Scott, you're probably gonna have to remind me. 11, yes. Graciously done by him. Looks great. Been very happy with it and get lots of compliments on it. So we have new in-terminal signage for showing where offices, where restrooms, where the restaurant is, to help people get in and out and find where they need to go. And then finally, we have 2 new courtesy cars out at the airport to replace some of the old Crown Vics that we've been doing. We get plenty of big businesses that fly into the airport and they're multi-million-dollar aircraft, and then it's not so nice to have to stick them into an old 90s cop car that's seen better days. So this kind of takes care of that problem.
There's nothing wrong with those. I drive those for
We do get some people. We do have some people that request them specifically. Some people really love those cop cars.
I had a Caprice in '96.
So some of the vision of the airport. Of course, you probably have all seen the Wall of Honor that is out there in Veterans Park. It's right at the entrance of the airport. There's 5 large stone, granite stones with names of Oklahoma veterans on them, done by the Wall of Honor. And they also have the Vietnam Veteran Wall out there, an 80% replica of the Vietnam Veteran Wall. I highly encourage you to go out and see it if you have not. It is quite something to see. We have also the A-26 World War II Lady Liberty based out there. They're out there every Saturday morning if you're interested in coming out and seeing them. They do quite a bit. This year, they've gone to quite a few air shows, and we also pull them out. Anytime that they're not at an air show, we pull them out for our fly-in so people can walk around and see it. And then new scavenger hunt as well that started about a year and a half ago. We've had quite a few kids come out and complete it. Just a good reason to get kids to come out, wander around parts of the airport, see different planes, go see different parts. It's not something that you can necessarily always do in one day, so it keeps them coming out for different things in case Lady Liberty or the Wall of Honor is not open on that day. And then finally, some events, car shows, food trucks, and fly-ins are some of the ones that we've been looking at doing. We had our first car show last year. We're looking at making that bigger, having a bigger attendance on it, and bringing out some of our food trucks, and then also fly-ins. We're always on the lookout for new ideas for fly-ins on activities for people to do when they come and fly into the airport. We have it on the third Saturday of every month in the spring and summer months. We just finished our last one last month, which with our poker run, and then Barnstormers has their Barnstormers breakfast on their off months, except for November and December where they take off for holidays. Finally, any questions?
I have a question about the control tower.
Absolutely.
You referenced it as a contract. Who
Yes.
pays for it?
So we do not pay for it because of the amount of operations that they see. So it does not come out of Cindy funding. I believe the FAA pays for it entirely. I don't know why they don't.
That's great.
Mhm.
That's really good. The other thing I'd like to say is that someone who flies around a little bit and goes to other places, I have to say you guys do a top-notch job out there.
appreciate that.
You have a great, facility has improved significantly over the years, and, we've got to partner with Vance, which, when I was in the Air Force back in 1974, the only time we went to Woodring is we had a flat-out emergency. And now you're there as much as, they're there over there as much as you are at Vance. So that's a great partnership, so.
Yes, yeah. We greatly appreciate their partnership and we're glad to help them out.
Said Robin, if you haven't gone out and eaten at Barnstormers, you need to.
Oh, I've eaten at Barnstormers
Pretty
many
awesome food.
times.
There's pretty awesome food going on over there, so.
I'm down to a couple times a week myself, but
Well, that's what I recognize. When I'm out there at the restaurant, the place is always neat as a pin, and you're keeping up with the property very, very well. That begets people feeling safety, and I just admire what you're doing out there. The main thing is that you're squeezing a lot of government money out there, and it's not costing the citizens of Media, because there would be a thought among some people that are going, I don't get to enjoy the airport. But it is very important to our community and the people that are coming in and out of there to visit us and to do business here. So thank you very much for your leadership there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
any others? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all I have. We'll stand adjourned until 6:30.
Well, that went fast. I didn't know.